Hello guys, I believe you're doing great, and this is a continuation of from the previous video, which I did about what the essential requirements you need to get started. Now, I gave a link to what the VS Code. I'm sure you might have downloaded it and installed the necessary icons, the necessary extensions in it. Okay, for today, we'll be looking at what HTML means. I told you web pages are being written in form of it has HTML part, it has what the CSS part, it has the what JavaScript part. Those are the basic foundation of what of how a website is being built. Okay, so we look at what HTML means. HTML simply stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Alright, this hypertext, they are together. I'm going to show you why it's called hypertext. Hypertext is just a text that is linking to another web page. Alright, like now, let me run this my code. Yeah, I can remember something. Remember in the previous video, I told you that I'll be in subsequent videos. I will show you the functions of those extensions we installed. Remember, we installed an extension called Live Preview. Live Preview. Now, this is a code I have written. If I right click on it and go to Show Preview, this code is going to run and show me how such web page looks like. Okay, this is a particular web page. Okay, so if I click on Show Preview, remember that's the work of what Live Preview. So as we move on subsequently, I'll be telling you what other what extension does. So that will be the best way of doing what of learning it. I learned through practice, real practice. So I believe other people too have the kind of ideology that I do have. So it's real. So that's why I didn't want to tell you the functions of those word extensions when I spoke about them in the last video. So like I said earlier, the live preview is what will help you to see the code you've written for your site. Okay, so I'll click on show preview. I want to show you what the hypertext means. Okay, this is just this thing I coded. So can you see this place here called hobbies? I'm sure you might have seen this on different web pages, right? So this is a text that will link me to another page. Do you understand? That is what we call hypertext. So let me click on it, my hobbies. It takes me to a new web page, isn't it? And I can see some hobbies there, right? So this is a sample of a hypertext. So most websites have hypertext, all right, in them. So that's telling you that it's a text that you just click that in form of a link that will link you to another web page. So let's look at the next part. The next part is hypertext markup language. Now let me go back to this my code and close this markup language. Can you see the way my okay, let me run it again. Can you see the way my uh, can you see this ICT technician? This is it. I had to write it in form of what a markup language. So this language that involves using opening and close tags. All right, let me show you in another window. New window. I want to show you something very special and very important. What a markup language is. This is that kind of language that you write it in like this, in form of small angular brackets, left and right. Okay, so to present your web content. So that is what is called markup language. Is that language you use to present your web content. Can you see this h3 contact? This is the contact right here. Okay, are you seeing the h3 appearing? The h3 is not appearing. It's only the contact that is appearing as what a header. All right, excuse me. So where was I? I was trying to say that it's like you can see this ICT technician, right? Have you asked yourself why H2 doesn't show? Instead, the ICT technician looks like a header. Eh? is the language we call markup language. That language that is used to present what web content. Is it clear now? Okay, we'll be proceeding. Like in this video, I've showed you how to identify hypertext and what markup language, which is one of the building blocks to do what, create a website. All right, so I want us to we'll briefly be looking at HTML headers. Remember I said tags. You use for a markup language to be coded, you need to put it in tags. That's angular bracket. Okay, so I'll be creating a file here. Okay, first thing you need to do if you want to start your coding, just click on new file. This new file to take you here at this place here. Then our first start will be index.html. Our first file will start with index.html. The moment you create it, it's going to appear somewhere in your system. Okay, so I want to put it, I have a folder called web development, so I want to put it inside there, so I know that every web development jobs are going to be inside there. All right, so let me create a new folder. Okay, let's call this practice lesson 1. I will be sharing this folder as well. I will add it as I'm going to add it as a file which you can see. You can download it, open it in your VS Code. After opening it in your VS Code, you see the codes. Right, so let me call this lesson. This is not going to be lesson 1. I've done 1, I've done 2. Can we call this lesson 3? Okay, lesson 3, headers in HTML. The first thing we'll be looking at is what headers elements in HTML. So I'll show you what an element is, what a HTML element is. Element is just the content, the overall content of a tag. I'll show you what a tag is. Sorry, I didn't take my time to explain that. I'm just feeling that, oh, I'm working with web developers, and let's go, bro. The moment you create a new file, remember I saved that file as a folder in my system, so it's gonna appear like this, right? Index.html. Now let's code a simple something. Okay, before that, let me tell you what elements and tag means. Let me show you this simple tag, h1. Let me just say HTML tags and elements. Okay, before this, let me run it. Show preview. Remember I told you the function of show preview, right? Let me run it and see how it is. Previewing a file that is not a child of a server root to see if we correct. Please open workspace. Don't show again. Don't show me this, please. Okay, can you see that this is being presented in form of a word header? What is the content of this tag? Okay, what is the content of this tag is what is presented as a live preview of the page I just designed right now. Are you with me? Is the English too big? If it's too big, if you have more questions, just indicate in the comment sections and I'll be able to, but keep on, I'll try my possible best to break this down to what even a kindergarten could understand. Okay, so let me delete this. Remember I told you I want to tell the difference between tags and elements. So my first code, my first website, yeah, I'm using live show preview. As I'm using show preview, if I'm coding it, I'm going to see it live. All right, so